What's going on YouTube? So back again with another video in the Kdenlive automation rendering series. So this particular video, I will cover how I went about addressing a timeout value being reached and how I investigated it and then determined that it was actually a timeout. So without further ado, cue the intro. So again, thanks for checking out the Almost Engineer channel. If you have not already, please be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. So the timeout was determined after I did some investigation on my process automation. And so what I've done, I actually had a video of dashcam footage that I recorded, and it resulted in, as you see here, a 9.2 gigabyte tar file, which uncompressed is just over, not too much more over 9.2 gigs. As you see, the videos directory is 9.2 gigs by itself. And so what was happening is it would run, the uncompress and untar option in the automation, and then it will quit and would throw a null pointer exception. So I'm going to show you this log file here. And so with the latest run, it would do everything as it should have, and then it would get to this line right here and say null pointer exception. So when I did the debugging, I, backtracked it. And so as you know, exceptions are thrown in reverse from the parent file being at the very bottom to the actual where it occurred at being at the very top. And so if I went to my application on line 30 in the Kdenlive operations file, what I see here is an exception being thrown because the file name is empty. Now, the exception message was not actually written to the log, and so that I will also address as part of this fix here. But since the file name is not empty, I actually ran it and watched it as it ran. And what was happening was that the file operations has a wait for limit of 30 seconds. So basically run this process. If it takes longer than 30 seconds, it was continuing on and the process was still running in the background, but the automation was just keep going. It's supposed to throw a timeout for some reason, but it did not throw a timeout. So I don't know why. But it kept running. And so what it did is it finished this particular function call and then went back and went to the next line in the operation, which was to render the video and to pass in the values, and it saw this value was empty. And so it threw an exception and exited. So what I'm going to do is actually two things. The first one is to address this exception message not being logged. So I need to go into my app class, and in my main, I need to have a log message of get message, which I do have here. So that is weird why it's not being thrown. And then also have the stack trace. So let me go back here and see. So I guess the message is null, which does not make sense. That's interesting. Okay. And then so at least we have the stack trace, which is this line 121 here. So we have somewhere to kind of reference to go back to. The other thing I need to do is actually change this from 30 seconds and I'm going to change it to 300. And so the reason I'm changing it to 300 is that is the equivalent of 5 minutes. And two, this file, even though it was 9.2 gigs, I've had a couple of files that may have been a little bit about 10 to 12 gigs at compressed. So I figure 5 minutes should be long enough. I actually did uncompress this one manually and it took about 2 to 3 minutes to do that. So I figure 5 minutes should be sufficient. If this continues to be an issue, I will increase it even further to maybe 10 minutes. And so that should cover pretty much any video that I ever do, because I think even the biggest of the biggest videos that I've recorded, they were no more than maybe 18 or 19 gigabytes in size. So that will address this issue. I'm not sure why it did not throw this exception message here. So that's something I'll try to look into a little bit further. And so, because as you see here, string.message gets the message of this throwable instance, which may be null. So, and I'll put a little bit more here, detail. I guess. And so the detail, we'll put detail, error detail. How about that? All right, and so the next time that that occurs, at least we'll be able to see where the error detail should have shown up. I'm thinking it should have shown up in this line here, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So that covers everything in this particular video. I'm going to go ahead and commit this particular change or update, if you will, to the repository and close out this issue that I've created. That is issue number 16 for this. So if you have any questions about the timeout or just exception being thrown in general, please drop a comment in the comment section below. So until the next video, I will see you. Peace.